tax to GDP ratio within the next 3 years. In order to ensure seamless implementation, the committee shall be empowered not merely to make recommendations, but also provide practical support in the execution and delivery of the recommended changes.
Multiplicity of revenue collection agencies, high cost of revenue administration, and excessive burden of compliance on ordinary taxpayers, among others, are also areas of consideration.
We cannot continue to tax the poor party where we should be promoting prosperity. We should no longer tax investment or production, but focus on returns, incomes, and consumption. This government will tax the fruit, but not the seeds.
And the committee, chaired by a world-class expert on economic matters, Taiwo Oyedele, with members from across public and private sectors, promises a comprehensive and long-term focused approach.
The burden of tax falls heavily on those who comply, while those who evade often get away with little or no consequences. We need to change that.
On the account of the work the committee set out to do, our business environment will become more conducive for local and foreign investments, wealth will be created, and our country will be better for it.
The committee has 1 full year to carry out this assignment that promises to reshape the revenue generation profile of a country, but with a clear mandate not to increase the tax burden on Nigerians. From the State House, Musbau and Wahab, NT News.
Meanwhile, the World Trade Organization WTO says it has been considering ways to alleviate the difficult socio-economic conditions that Nigerians are currently going through. Director General of the WTO, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, said this was part of her discussions as she visited President Bola Tinubu at the State House. Again, State House correspondent Musbau and Wahab completes that report.
The World Trade Organization, WTO, is apparently one of the organizations Nigeria would have to look up to with economic realities in the country. Though unofficial, the visit of a boss of a global body was an opportunity President Bola Tinubu would not miss to seek help for the country on a round table, and with the accompanying of another Nigerian returning to serve in the country after a sojourn in the diaspora, the hope is more enticing.
On trying to look at community and grassroots programs that can be put in place to create jobs for young people, on trying to support women and children who are those who are bearing the brunt of some of the suffering in the country. We talked about how for the longer term we need to look at investment opportunities that Nigeria can seize, including in the pharmaceutical industry. We are already working in Nigeria with women in particular who own small and medium enterprises to try to help them upgrade the quality of their products, whether it's in the agricultural area, in textiles, and in other areas, so that they can sell more internationally. We're trying to help them with digital trade. The wave of the future is digital trade.
The difficulties that we're facing is transitory. I think with the vision of Mr. President, I think there's reason to be very hopeful that we'll navigate through this difficult time and have a Nigeria that sees us stronger, united, and inspired for the greatness that is in our future.
Meanwhile, as the authority of the ECOWAS heads of state and governments considers the next line of action of the Niger coup following the expiration of the ultimatum, the presidency is maintaining that Nigeria has no isolated stand on the situation apart from the common ground of the regional bloc.
The Nigerian government has acted on the authority provided by the consensus position taken by the bloc itself, by all members of the ECOWAS heads of state concerning financial sanctions and many others. I can also report that His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has ordered an additional slate of financial sanctions through the Central Bank of Nigeria on entities and individuals related to or involved with the military junta in Niger Republic.
The ECOWAS reconvenes again in Abuja for an extraordinary summit on Thursday. From the State House, Musbao and Wahab, NT News.
Away from the State House now to other national issues. The National Broadcasting Commission will be considerate of the current economic realities in making flexible payment plans to enable broadcast organizations to stay up to date with payment and renewal of license fees. The Director General of the Commission made this known at a stakeholders engagement meeting in Kano. Abdullahi Mustafa reports.
Top on the agenda of this meeting is awakening broadcast stations to their statutory obligations of remitting to the Commission 2.5% of their annual income, which many are allegedly refusing to comply. Consequently, the Commission warned all holders of indebted licenses to liquidate their debts before September 9, 2023 or risk revocation of such and their frequency reassigned to other users. Some broadcast media executives attributed the non-payments to the difficult economic situation which negatively affects their overall operations.
But NBC also needs to know that they survive to regulate an industry. If the industry does not survive, there is nothing to regulate. So I think that there has to be some middle ground where deferment, payment plans, and even outright cancellation of some fees.
Since there are financial difficulties, some stations cannot even pay their salaries and so forth. So they should restrict giving license to the station so that we have to.
Director General of the NBC, Balarabe Shehu Ilela, however, insisted that the Commission is not unmindful of the situation as it has not reviewed broadcast license fees for the past 20 years.
We are not asking them to pay today or tomorrow. But what we are saying in essence again is that there are people who have more than 1 or 3 or 4, some even have 5 licenses, in their custody, and they are not paying. So if you are not using this license, bring them back to the Commission. But once you keep the license, you have to pay for the license.
There is no organization that can function without funds. And actually, these are the funds that will be used by this organization to operate.
The NBC does not have any budgetary allocation from the federal government, so they depend on these dues and penalties paid to be able to float the commission.
Increased funding of the Commission by the government for efficient performance was among recommendations given by stakeholders during the meeting.
And from the National Assembly, Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly matters designated to the House of Representatives, Ibrahim Kunle Olarewaju, has commended the speed at which the National Assembly carried out the ministerial screening, saying it is to meet the yearnings of Nigerians as promised. The SSA, who spoke in an exclusive interview with Yours Sincerely, says Nigerians should expect a harmonious working relationship between the legislature and the executive. It is in line with constitutional provisions that the President transmit names of ministerial nominees for screening to the National Assembly. And for the Senate, this is the first rigorous legislative exercise after the confirmation of service chiefs. 48 of the nominees screened, and the SSA to the President, Ibrahim Kunle Olarewaju, commended the Senate for a job well done.
I had interaction with virtually all of them. Most of them don't expect to be picked. Most of them were just doing their job in their own private practices, and boom, they had their names on the air. That tells you he's diligent, he's consistent in what he wants.
Though the Senate has gone on recess after the exercise, but the belief is that as they have started with such speed, The budget process for the year 2024 will also not be delayed. Nigerians ask for inclusion of young people in governance, and Ibrahim Kule says the visibility of young and competent people involvement is glaring in the Ahmed Bola Tinubu's cabinet. In Abuja, afforestation campaign has once again received a boost as Nasarawa State University Cafe earmarked 2 hectares of land to the university community for planting of trees as its modest contribution to conservation of Mother Earth from global warming. Blessing Fulani has that report.
The Nasarawa State University Kefi Green Campus Initiative intends to promote afforestation campaign as well as providing green area within the campus. To achieve this, the management of the university has donated 2 hectares of land to the university community to plant 10 million trees in order to conserve the Mother Earth from global warming.
Our desire is to ensure that we turn our campus green. You know that climate change, environmental pollution, environmental degradation, erosion have become serious menace. And the only way you can checkmate that is to ensure that you do climate-resistant trees that will help to ensure that you reduce erosion and you mitigate the dangers of climate change.
Director General, Forestry Research Institute of Nigeria, Professor Zakaria Yaduna, as well as other relevant stakeholders, agitated for afforestation, stressing its importance to man and the environment.
Inauguration of Green Initiative with 2 hectares of forest arboretum shows the passion of the university community towards having a self-environment that is undergoing a continuous global change and where everyone that has to cope with the changes.
Look, if you're talking about tree planting, you are talking about human beings' survival, human beings' existence. Because the moment you cut the last tree, in fact, that means the world has come to an end.
It is hoped the trees will be nurtured and be beneficial to humanity and the environment. In Kefi, Blessing Fulani, NTA News.
Well, at a time the government of Nigeria is promoting tree planting and encouraging citizens for greener and healthy environment, the Extra Oil Wise Women, an Abuja-based non-governmental organization, is keen into the initiative as it embarks on planting of more than 5 million trees across the country. Correspondent Moses Kwe witnessed the flag-off in Abuja.
With a strong resolve to finding sustainable solutions towards combating desertification in Nigeria, the Extra Oil Wise Women, an Abuja-based non-governmental organization, has embarked on tree planting exercise in Abuja with the theme Bring Back Life to the Land. The coordinator, Extra Oil Wise Women, Sarah Booker, highlights the importance and some of the reasons for embarking on tree planting outreach this year.
Essentially, our interest is the protective benefits of the tree to the environment.
She says more than 5 million trees have been earmarked for the entire country. 250,000 will be planted across Federal Capital Territory.
The entire country, resuscitating the environment, rediscovering the environment, protecting the environment.
They want to also extend their contribution to the society and to the environment around them.
Director Parks and Recreation Department, Federal Capital Territory Administration, expresses appreciation to the donor group.
In Parks and Recreation, it is heartwarming. It's a great thing of joy.
The tree planting outreach is an offshoot of tree planting campaign launched by the Federal Capital Territory Administration under the Federal Ministry of Agriculture to end drought and desertification encroachments in.
Here today, the Wise Oil Women are trying to also key into our strategy, which includes.
In Abuja, Kuya Moses, NTA News.
You're watching the 1 p.m. news on NTA Channel 5 Abuja, and still to come on the news. NTA security check program called the police extremes life in the slums as it becomes a safe haven for criminals. These and more in just a moment.
Good evening, glad to have you join us.
Thanks for joining us on Weekly News Wrap.
Thank you very much for having me.
And it is on that note we welcome you to today's edition of the program.
I will celebrate creativity, lasting impressions.
There's no book stating that this is the role for men.
On the news.
On the news at 7.
Residents of Abuja were advised to familiarize themselves with their divisional police officers, call or communicate credible information to the police, and also trust the process of the police, as the police are always a dial away and ready to serve the public better. Away from security and now to health. Chairman Abuja Municipal Area Council Christopher Zakame Kalongo has reiterated his commitment to quality health and well-being of residents. This was at the council's official commencement of polio immunization. Hakimat Aliyu brings us an update.
That was the significant flag off of the immunization campaign against poliomyelitis in the Abuja Municipal Area Council. The council secretary, Jafaru Gwagwa, who represented the chairman, Christopher Zakame Kalangu, at the flag-off ceremony, stressed the council's initiatives and efforts taken towards the success of the campaign.
Let me use this opportunity to call on our people as a grassroots to imbibe the culture of good personal hygiene. As a government, we shall continue to provide all necessary support to ensure the success of this program. We shall also continue to partner with all relevant agencies and stakeholders, securing the future of our children by ensuring that the polio is totally kicked out in Amak.
The event brought together stakeholders and development partners who pledged their support as the Secretary FCT Primary Health Care Board, Dr. Isa Yaya Vatsa, notes the campaign is targeted at immunizing the children population against poliomyelitis as well as other routine immunization and disease surveillance.
All diseases that are common in our environment, there will be a team going around to the houses to ensure that families are well, families and communities are surveyed, to ensure that if there is any disease within the community is detected. And we have teams, enough teams, and we also have enough vaccines. And I want to also assure the public that these vaccines are effective, safe, and completely free.
The exercise is expected to hold till the 11th of August 2023 in Abuja. Hakimat Aliyu, NTA News.
The joy of parents and guardians knew no bound as they watch in awe 67 of their children move to another phase of academics. Gideon Yohana reports on the end of year graduation at the key special academy Gwarimpa Estate, Abuja, where former NPP presidential candidate Senator Rabiu Musa Fonkoso was a guest.
It is the 15th graduation ceremony of the Key Special Academy since its inception in 2008. The proprietor of the school, Senator Rabiu Musa Fonkoso, expressed full confidence in the graduates that they will go far.
I thank Almighty God for saving our lives to see this day. And what I have seen today, of course, can only encourage me more to invest in the area of education.
For a parent, any day as such that comes in life are days that you must be very happy. A significant milestone that puts you at alert to prepare harder even for the future of the children.
Parents and guardians were greeted with various performances as the students and pupils exhibited their academic skills. Graduates were admonished to utilize the stage of their lives carefully as great dreamers discover themselves at tender age.
They should pursue their dreams, they should not procrastinate, they should be diligent and hardworking.
Secondary school living is like the beginning of every person, and this is like a new beginning for them and us all, so we're very, very happy.
I feel very proud that I have reached this level and that God has kept me alive to this stage and how my parents are helping me.
It's a moment I've been waiting for since nursery, and the feeling is just great.
The event had 35 graduates from the senior class and 32 from the junior section. In Abuja, Gideon Yohana, NTA News.
And on sports, reactions have continued to trail the defeat of Super Falcons by their England counterparts in the FIFA Women's World Cup. Those who spoke with Francisca Bile urged Nigerians to be proud of the team's performance.
Football enthusiasts say the Super Falcons were gallant despite exiting the 2023 Women's World Cup, describing their performances as good but would have done better. 9-time Women's African champions, Nigeria Super Falcons, were edged out of the World Cup by the Lionesses of England with a 4-2 penalty shootout during the round of 16 clash of the 2023 Women's World Cup in Brisbane, Australia.
I am disappointed. All Nigerians are disappointed that we couldn't nick the penalty shootout. But like everyone knows, penalties are just a toss-up. Well, congratulations to them. This is a fantastic performance. This is what I have been looking for, that the Falcons winning the WAFCON is nothing. We've won it so many times.
Although the match went to extra time without no goal, but towards the end of the regulation time, Super Falcons had an advantage again because the English team was short with a woman down. Let me use that. But they failed to utilize that advantage.
Meanwhile, other sport lovers spoke on the way forward.
All they need to do now is how they can improve on the team because the team looks sound.
I think we Nigerians should embrace them. We should congratulate them, even though we lost, despite the fact we lost, but we lost to a tough opponent, and I think we should really appreciate their efforts and keep them together, and we should keep supporting them for the future.
In Abuja, Francisca Bile, NTA News.
And just before we go, a quick recap of some top stories. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has inaugurated Tax Reforms Committee